It's exactly 3 after 10 o'clock. Our wrap up story for the morning is an absolutely heartwarming story. It's about the blind people or the blind community, stories of hope from Cape Town's blind community. And I think this is going to be a universal story because even though we're focusing in the Western Cape, there's blind communities globally. So let's be cognizant of that and let's spare a thought for the blind community internationally. Yesterday we spoke about deaf awareness. We know that that is a community as well that needs our support, that needs our respect, and we need to see them as people, as human beings like you and I, and not invisible. And I think the same rules apply when we talk about the blind community. We have a guest online. He is the awareness officer at Cape Town Society for the Blind. His name is Sergil January. A very good morning to you. Welcome to the program, Sergil.
Good morning, and thank you very much for having me and representing our organization. Thank you so much.
God bless you. I understand that you are the awareness officer at the Society for the Blind. We need to understand what it is that you do there. We also know that in the heart of Cape Town, the Society for the Blind stands as a beacon of resilience and hope. Talk to us about resilience, talk to us about hope, talk to us about you being an awareness officer. And I understand that you also have a challenge as far as sight is concerned. What is your story?
Yes, so I am completely blind, and I've been blind for the past 17 years. Um, my story starts in 2006, the year I became blind. So this year marks the 17th year. I've had some challenges, but I'm confident in saying that I've overcome many thereof. And through organizations such as Cape Town Society for the Blind, I managed to overcome these challenges.
How did you lose your
Um,
sight?
while look in the past, everybody has a past, and I found myself on the wrong side of the law, and in turn, I became blind through a gunshot wound to the head.
Oh, I'm so,
So
so
my optic
sorry.
nerves,
So
yeah,
sorry to hear that.
that's absolutely no problem. My optic nerve was damaged, which caused both my eyes, for me to lose sight in both my eyes. Um, but
And when
yeah,
the
I
first
mean,
time, Sergio,
yeah,
when you were
yes.
told by the doctors that you've lost your sight completely, you'll never be able to see ever again, how did you feel? And did you kind of think my life is over and life's not worth living? What was the inspiration and motivation that pushed you on and pushed you to where you were today? So, starting from the time you heard the devastating news that you're never going to be able to see again.
Well, when the doctors explained to me that I won't be able to see, I initially was very saddened by that, and at the same time, I developed an emotion of anger. I was very angry and very sad at the same time because I thought it would be over. There's nothing worth living for. Um, living in my life back then, I was a very popular guy. I had 1,000 friends. Um, once I became blind, I've lost all those friends, and people just continued living their lives. I had to go for counseling. I understood that life does go on through this mechanism of counseling. And I then, in turn, decided, look, if I want to make the most of life, I've got to put my best foot forward, and that's what I did. I threw caution to the wind. I attended multiple programs to do with adapting with my new way of living. I managed to complete my schooling. Initially, I was a high school dropout in grade 9. I managed to, obtain my matric, and I attended programs, especially at Cape Town Society for the Blind, which helped me progress as a blind person. And I think since then, I've never ever looked back. I never ever sulked about my visual impairment. I think I embraced it. I think healing starts when you accept the fact that you are visually impaired, and you've got to do what you must to live and to develop as an individual within society.
Who was
So
standing
I was
beside
initially
you,
very sad and very angry, but I overcame them all.
Sergio?
Yeah.
Who was walking side by side with you throughout this journey of yours? Was it a mother, father, brother, sister, or a special person in your life? Because one can't
Well,
do this completely alone, can you?
no. And yes, you cannot do this on your own. My parents were instrumental, with the situation. Um, Family members were very, very kind and very helpful. My mother had to take 3 months off from work. My family contributed financially. So there was a huge support from my family, and that I appreciate up until today. Then also, as I mentioned, the organizations I've attended uh, with specific needs to blind and visual impairment. Through these um, people and organizations, I managed to, become who I am today.
And
Yeah,
now you are paying it forward. An amazing
yeah.
story of paying it forward as an awareness officer at the CTSB. Tell us how this all happened.
Well, are you referring to the organization, the establishment thereof?
I'm talking about you becoming an awareness officer.
Okay. So in 2020, I decided to resign from my former place of employment. Again, I threw caution to the wind and I tested the system. I decided that I've got a lot more to offer and I can be appreciated more. So what I did was I resigned, and that so happened to be in the COVID period.
Mm,
I signed up with Cape Town Society for the Blind after nearly 10 years. I did my computer training over here, and when I learned there was an awareness officer's post, I immediately applied there because at my previous place of employment, that formed if facilitating information formed part of my duties. So I was successful after the interviews, and I started working at Cape Town Society for the Blind, where I am very comfortable for the past 1 and 6 months, 1 year and six
mm.
months. Yeah,
What is an awareness officer? And may you spend many, many years touching lives very positively as an
thank you
awareness
so much.
officer. So tell us what exactly is it that you do?
So as I mentioned, I facilitate information. So my duties is to go out and share the awareness of blind and visual impairment,
Wow.
which ranges from blindness etiquette, speaks about how to communicate with blind and visually impaired persons, how to lead or guide them when they need assistance, what we do in terms of the programs we offer, just going out there and advocating for blind or visually impaired persons. And I can tell you, I'm very bold in doing this, especially the advocating part of my responsibility. I go out there and I vigorously advocate for blind or visually impaired people. As you've mentioned earlier on, that sometimes it seems that the disabled communities are not seen as provisions are made for more able-bodied persons. So it's my responsibility to go out there and just represent, our sector as positively as I can and vigorously, because I believe before we have this, or before we are blind or any disability, we are human beings and we should be treated equally. Yeah.
Absolutely. Can't agree with you more. You are not a invisible community by any means. What sort of work, recreation and work is done by the Cape Town Society for the Blind? Because
Okay.
obviously, with the economy being in the state that it is, I kind of wonder if government supports your organization at all. If they do, it means that you get a very small chunk of
Yeah.
monies because of the situation, the current economic situation, obviously. So, how do
Yes.
you guys fund yourselves?
Okay, so let me start off by saying the programs that we offered are completely free to our community. We also provide stipends for traveling arrangements. Um, we are partly funded with the Department of Social Development. And furthermore, we are dependent on generous offerings, of the community or corporates at large. Um, we've also got a showroom where we showcase items made at our organization, like cane furniture, baskets, acrylic material, woven bags. So the woven bags and the
Breaking
baskets
stereotypes.
and those things are all made by blind and visually impaired persons who are contracted to our organization, and in that way they have their earnings and contribute positively to the economy.
Okay, my final question then to you is, what does the future look like for you, Sergil January, being a visually impaired person?
I feel that, look, I may be blind, but I've got a vision. Even though I don't see physically, I believe I've got a vision for myself. Um, I always put my best foot forward, and I always grab hold of opportunities with both hands.
Love your can do attitude. Keep it up. Keep
Hmm.
touching lives in a positive way. Thank you for sharing your story with us this morning on Salam Media. That, of course, was a story of hope from Cape Town's blind community. And Sergil January, who is the awareness officer there, has taken some time out to share his story with us. But remember, he's representing the blind community, not only in Cape Town, but globally. God bless, take care, and all the very best for your future.
Thank
16
you
after
too.
10
Thank you
o'clock.
for having us.
16 after 10, news and views wrapping up. Thank you for your time till Monday morning from me. Take care on the roads. Enjoy the rest of the week. And it is Assalamu alaikum and Khudafiz from me, Julie Ali.